Spider-Man does whatever. Well, you know. In 2002, Spider-Man came to the big screen. The story is about 18-year-old Peter Parker, played by Tobey Maguire, a stereotypical nerd who is socially unpopular. He has a crush on Mary Jane Watson, played by Kirsten Dunst. And his only real friend is Harry Osborn, played by James Franco. One day, while on a field trip to a genetics laboratory, Peter is bitten by a genetically enhanced spider. When Peter goes home that day, he feels sick. But when the next day comes around, Peter feels strong and full of energy, and he does not know why. And as the day continues, Peter discovers he can spin webs, climb walls, and has a certain sense of danger when it is around him. Peter begins to realize it must have came from the spider bite the day before. So Peter decides to use his newfound set of skills to break in some extra cash. So he signs up for a wrestling match with a wrestler played by a real-life wrestler, Randy the Man Savage. And after Peter defeats him, the wrestling promoter cheats him out of the money he was supposed to get. That wrestling promoter is later robbed. Peter lets the robber slip by. A few minutes later, his Uncle Ben, played by Cliff Robertson, is killed in a carjacking. When Peter tracks the robber down, he discovers it was the same robber he let slip by. And after that, Peter decides to devote his life to making sure that never happens again. And with the words his Uncle Ben said to him, "With great power comes great responsibility." And Peter becomes the masked vigilante known as Spider-Man. And during that same time, Norman Osborn, Harry Osborn's father, his business is in danger of going under. So he tests a performance enhancers on himself, and when he uses too much, he becomes the Green Goblin. And that's about all I'm going to tell you. Sam Raimi directed this, and he was trying to get rights to two other superheroes, but didn't get them. That would be Batman and The Shadow. And of course, we all know in 1990 he made his own superhero film, not based on a comic book. That was Darkman. I mean, his love for this character really shows in this film. I mean, it's not your usual typical Sam Raimi film. He kind of toned down the intensity because he knew kids are going to want to see this. Did I like this film? Yeah. I really liked it when I first saw it, but when I see it again, I realized the flaws that it had. I mean, the special effects. Ugh. I gotta say, they look too video game-like. I mean, they improve it in the sequel, but I mean, I think they were just trying way too hard here. I mean, it really shows. And some of the dialogue seems clunky and outdated. They just didn't know how to be clever with the catchphrases and all. As for the performances, I think Tobey Maguire did pretty well. Some people say he was the worst Spider-Man, but I don't think he was terrible. I think he did best for what he was given, and I think he was pretty good in what he did. James Franco was pretty good as Harry Osborn. Kirsten Dunst, on the other hand, I think she fell into the curse of how some females are portrayed in these type of films. I mean, she wasn't really given much to do, just be the love interest, and maybe they gave more for her in the sequel and so forth, but I feel bad for her. She just really wasn't given much, and Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin was pretty good. He's at times comes across as goofy, but he never goes overboard. And he does come across creepy, but he never goes too overboard with that. J.T. Walsh was also good as J. Jonah Jameson. He stays true to the source material of the character, and at the same time he does bring his own to the role. As for the Goblin's costume, yeah, it does kind of look like a Power Ranger type thing. I think they were trying to update it more. I mean, they felt they couldn't totally duplicate what was in the comics, unlike Spider-Man's costume, but I think they did okay. I think they went a little overboard. And let's not forget the performance of Rosemary Harris as Aunt May was very strong portrayal as Peter Zan. So in all, I gotta give Spider-Man an 8 out of 10. Bye bye.